Hey, everybody. Welcome to Love Relo, the voice of the relocation industry. I am your host, Ben Cross. I'm so blessed and honored to be here with Ben from SwitchPlace.
What's
What's going
up,
on, Ben? How
Ben?
you doing?
Good, good. Hey, and I appreciate you not attempting to say my last name.
I
We
wasn't
didn't
even going to do it.
rehearse
It's like a
that.
triple Lutz in the Olympics. I'm
Yeah,
already got a 10. I'm not going for it.
we did not rehearse that behind the scenes here as well. So,
Clear the air. How do you say your last name, Ben?
it's all good. And I'll give a quick anecdote. In 44 years of being on this planet, not one person has ever been able to get it right off of the jump. So I was at my college graduation at Bradley University in 2000, and the valedictorian of the class was just reading off all of these names, got to my name, and just absolutely stuttered, lost the train of thought. So no negative penalty points for anyone out there. It is pronounced Ben Lugiai.
Lugiai. Yes,
Yeah.
that would have been my first guess. Ben
Yeah.
Lugiai and Ben Cross here with you. Get in the comments, y'all. Let us know who you are, where you are, and what the weather is like where you are right now. It's a scorcher. It's 100 degrees here in Dallas. Ben, where in the world are you right now?
Yeah, I'm actually in Northern Virginia in Prince William County. So that is about 30 miles west of DC proper border itself. And for those that aren't familiar with Virginia or DC summers, it mirrors deep south. We are
Really?
talking very, very humid. Today we've been good in the upper 80s, but this summer has been just brutal. And I've had the privilege of living out here in the Northern Virginia area for really the past 18 years. So I'm a Midwesterner by heart. I'm originally from the greater Chicagoland area. So bear down. Big Bears fan here, but my family, my wife, my kids, we're all out here in Prince William County, Virginia.
Okay. All right. Okay. So you got a little humidity cooking over there. All right. I
Little
see you.
humidity
Get in the
cooking.
comments, y'all. Hit that like button. Let us know who you are, where you are. We got Kara Lingle checking in, saying what's up. Ben², love it. Amanda Sylvia, this is going to be amazing. Well, hold on, Amanda. We'll see. Okay. No refunds. All right. Either way. Tony Andell, can't wait to tune in. What's up, Tony? Yeah, this is gonna be fun. We hung out a couple years ago
Yeah.
in Tampa at the CHPA conference,
Yep. Yeah.
and yeah, it's good. And SwitchPlace, your company, it's right around the corner from me here in Richardson.
So we were just kind of riffing about that. And we're headquartered in Dallas, but we moved to Richardson, Texas about 3 years ago. And we're on the 15th floor of the tallest building in Richardson, kind of overlooks everything that the city has to offer, including TI that's out there. But right before this, for people that are in that geographic area, everyone knows this bar called Bender's.
Okay.
And every time I come to the greater Dallas metro area, I will say it is the stop, and my team begrudgingly goes with me.
You drag them there, you make them
drag
go.
them there, Ben. And I will say this, it still allows smoking outside, like on the patio, but the patio doesn't have any glass doors or anything. So the smoke still comes into it. And I said, they don't make them here. Like anywhere else. So if you find a good dive bar with cheap drinks and great bar food, go to Bender's. But if you've got one in your local area, please support it. They are a dying breed.
We've got a shocking amount of bars in Richardson that allow smoking. I don't know how they get away with it, what they do. But yeah, there's a few places, and I haven't been to. My team. It's hard to get my team to drag my team to a smoking bar. We'll see. A couple of them have great karaoke, and but it's let's see. Oh, we love it, Ben. They're saying we love it. That's Amanda. Amanda says we love it.
Yep. Well, she's always been a trooper here, and just to see the drinks, you have to know the menu and the audience when you go into a place like that. Like, you don't order fish, you don't order a martini, and people want these kind of like, oh, I'll do this fruity drink. I'm like, no, it's beer or Tito's. Like, there's
Tito's, or maybe beer and a shot if feeling wild.
That's it here. The thing about that bar that just I'm fascinated with is that it is a Green Bay Packers bar. So there is Green Bay Packer material everywhere, and you're kind of in the heart of cowboy country.
Yeah.
Draws in quite a following every Sunday or whenever the Packers play here as well. So as a Bears fan, I'm twisted when I go in there, but I can just smell it when I get into Richards. I'm like, we're going to Bender's here.
We're going to bed. It's going to be a Bender's night. Hey, get in the comments, y'all. We're having some fun today on Love Relo. Let us know, what is your favorite dive bar and where is it at? Put it in the comments for us. Favorite dive bar. We're having fun today. We're not taking ourselves too seriously.
Yep.
We're all like, listen, we all know what corporate housing is about. We all know what relocation is about. Let's have some fun here. Jillian's watching over there. I see Jill. Hey, Ben ×2. Jill, you got a favorite dive bar out there? Let me know. Put it in there. Shout it out. Laura Chabadi over there. Sounds like a nice piece of bread. Put it in the comments, Laura. What's your favorite?
What's up, Laura? How you doing? It's good to see you.
What's your favorite dive bar? They got some good ones up in Michigan. Some real hole in the walls up in Michigan.
Oh yeah.
We had one where I lived in Michigan for 5 years, and it was it was so old. It was like this old inn. It was called the New. God, what was it called? It was like not the Newcastle Inn. It was the New Hudson. It was called the New Hudson Inn, and it was like supposedly like a stop on the Underground Railroad.
Oh,
and like if you stay there late enough, they'll take you upstairs, and there's like cots still. It's weird, and you feel like you're like inhaling asbestos or whatever. But all the bikers hung out there and stuff. It was bonkers.
Sounds pretty safe. Yeah, we've got a few out here. One, it's a bar called Masters, and it is a staple in Gainesville, Virginia. It is a biker bar, 100%. And the first time that I walked into it with my wife, right, we're kind of like, it's like the music literally is like, oh, but they were very welcoming and everything. So they are out there. So
this is great. Laura, I'm not bread. Chabadi says the UNI in Traverse City, Michigan. Okay, the UNI, not the TI. All right, very good. Ashley says the Baltimore Inn, downtown Detroit. Shout out to my girl Hilda. What's up, Hilda?
Ashley's phenomenal. And Ashley, I actually brought her on board about 3 months ago. So she is based in Battle Creek, Michigan.
Okay.
So she is a Tennessee gal through and through. That's a transplant in Michigan here, but she knows some really good spots. I actually did her onboarding in Detroit itself in person, and we had some really good time up there as well. So what's up, Ashley? Thanks for joining.
Ashley, Ashley, I'm going to be up in Detroit here in September for the Great Lakes Relocation Conference. So feel free to put any recommendations in there.
I saw your post and you're like, I hope I didn't look like an idiot doing the video and everything. Dude, you never have to worry about that. I think everyone that's either tuning in or listening understands.
Knows I'm going to look like an idiot.
Here. Now it's
expected.
It's good, man. That'll be a good event up there. I actually am thinking about attending too. The Michigan area is Michigan State, but really just Dearborn, Detroit, and that kind of area. We've got a large market and presence within. So we're very familiar with the real estate and the client demand that's going on in Detroit. So if you're up there, I think that's an event that's on my radar to attend to as well.
For sure. Let me ask you this as we finish talking about dive bars here. Get in the comments, y'all. We're talking about dive bars. What is your favorite dive bar? Where is it? Maybe bonus points if you want to shout out your favorite bartender like Hilda or something. I was just actually 2 weeks ago, I was on a bender. Talk about benders. I was on a bender in New York, staying at corporate housing. It was great. And I was going to there was a bar found in 1886 in Hell's Kitchen, and they give away free hot dogs every day.
Been there.
You've been there? Yeah. Do you remember the name? It's escaping right now.
I'm going to text. So my guy, Eric Sillin, a good friend of mine that works for Placemaker.
Is it Rudy's? It's Rudy's, I think.
Rudy's. Yes.
Rudy's. And I even bought like a little pig statue and everything.
Yes.
But Keith and Matt were my bartenders. I still remember them, which is crazy because it was like 3 a.m. But they were great guys. And Rudy's, I went to Rudy's a bunch, man, up in New York, Manhattan.
They've got another really cool dive bar that is very narrow by Times Square, and it's
Hmm.
cash only. I think dollar drafts,
That's how Rudy's was, cash only.
cash only. There are only a handful of those places in that area of New York itself. So we attended a New York Relocation Council event, and we made it a point to go to these dive bars itself
Yes.
because we just don't know how long they're going to be around for.
Right.
But I took my wife to Rudy's after a Yankee game, and she was like, "Just no more hot dogs, please, for the love of God." Like,
Just
no
because they're
more.
free doesn't mean you got to eat them.
Yeah, she's like,
Yeah.
please. They were very forceful though, and like, get a
Yeah.
hot dog. She's like,
Yeah.
I'm good. Like, there's too much beer and hot dogs in my system already. Just calm down.
Well, Rudy's, for I think it's $6, you get a beer and a shot,
Yeah, that's
and you can't beat it. But you know what I noticed in New York, and I'm going to ask you your order, but I've noticed in New York, they take a lot of shots.
Mhm.
And I think partially it's because they're walking everywhere, so you don't got to worry about it, right?
Yep.
But the other part of it is I think their glasses are a little smaller. So the bartender's buying you shots, you're buying the bartender shots. Hey, I'm gonna get one for this guy. Oh, get one for you. Oh, you get a freebie come. A shot comes every beer. Like they're shooting shots all over the place.
Yeah.
I got to ask you though, Ben, what's your order? You going to a dive bar? What do you go for?
I love dive bars myself. And then the opposite is like the Tavern on the Green when I go to New York as well. Like my wife and kids, anytime we go up there, it's like Tavern on the Green is where we go. And I'm like, ooh, I could do all of this for $6. And over here it's 60 for a drink itself. But honestly, so my preferred drink, and my team knows is I'm a big Tito's guy. I love Tito's.
Okay.
I just feel like it is a smooth. You don't get too crazy with it. And then I obviously will do shots, but I'll do Jameson will be my chaser or my shot, and then I'll do pickleback. You chase it with pickle juice afterwards as well. Yes. So if no one has done that, if no, it sounds gross, it kills the aftertaste significantly, and it still leaves you have a good time. So Tito's, and then I'm a big like Bud Light, Miller Light, Ultra guy because when I start drinking, like, God, I'm really paying myself. It's like,
nah, it's fine. You're a normal person, is what it is.
Yeah, it's a normal thing, but I've been relatively disciplined throughout the week without like drinking Monday through Thursday. But summer is summer. Like it's so tough to kind of take it off here. So that is like my preferred. When you see me and I've got a clear drink, it's probably not water.
It's Tito's.
Yes, it's Tito's, and it's undistinguishable. I will actually kind of pivot this back too. Same thing with alcohol is I frequently went down to Nashville probably once a month for about 2 years. And as soon as you get off of the plane, you get this just vibe, the Nashvilleian vibe. But what I love about that airport is that they allow you to take your drink away from the bar and walk around with it. My favorite airports to fly into are ones that allow you to walk around with alcohol. Yeah. And I will say it, and honestly, I love cities that have an open carry policy as well, where I can just move around from place to place here. It's just my preference that I have, but airports that don't allow that, I'm like, maybe I rethink about flying into them next time.
What's your favorite city that you can just walk around and have a good time in?
I honestly, Ben, Nashville it's got such a soft place in my heart.
Right.
I really had a great time, not only on the business side of it, but just I'm a big country fan. My family's a big country fan, and just the vibe that I get there is, I don't know how people work in downtown Nashville. I really don't, because I would be immersed into the people watching and into everything that's happening there as well. But Nashville, it's interesting. 90% of the domestic population can be to Nashville in less than 3 hours. It is perfectly suited for it. Now, it's an expensive area and city to go ahead and have a good time in as well. That's why you kind of have to mix a little bit of business with leisure on these types of trips. But Nashville has always got a soft spot in my place. And Another town that really stuck out for me, I've been down there a handful of times, is San Antonio. I know it's a love-hate type of thing, but I really did like the quaint vibe of it. And it seems to be unchanged and unrattled, but there's a lot of unique bars and restaurants and people that go to San Antonio. It's probably one of those that's good for about 2 days, and then you got to go, just like Nashville. But I like those type of mid-market towns that, people don't give a shit.
Have you ever been to the listening room in Nashville?
Is that like a behind the speakeasy or anything?
No, it's a little off. It's not on Broadway, so it's off Broadway. And I've been a couple times, and last time we were there for a conference, we took a group of like 20 people out. But it's super cool because they have a lineup of singer-songwriters who have written huge hits for, Keith Urban or Morgan Wallen or, whatever, right? And they've written these hits, but nobody knows who the songwriters are because they're not the singers, and so they'll get up there and they'll tell the story of how they wrote the song, how they were sleeping on somebody's couch, and Luke Combs walked in. He's like, I want to be a country singer. And they're like, yeah, sure, whatever, buddy, get in line. And then they write this song, and all of a sudden they didn't think it was going to go anywhere. And then they hear it on the radio and they start getting big checks. And like, holy crap, I could do this, songwriting thing. But they tell the story and then they'll sing it to you. And you're like, oh shit, like I know that song. Like that, yeah, it's a banger right there, And it's just such a beautiful night. It's about an hour and a half. They usually get about 3 singer-songwriters up there, and they just go back and forth telling stories, talking shit, singing songs. And it's just a beautiful, beautiful, but you got to be really quiet because they're telling stories and they're singing songs. And so, everyone's got to be really respectful. I was in there this last time. I almost got in a fight twice.
Oh, damn.
This table, but I'm not a fighter. I'm a cuddly guy,
Bens don't fight.
Ben, we don't fight. We're pretty faces,
Yes.
We're funny guys having our drinks, maybe double fist. Who cares? But we're not fighters. Okay, that's what we're not. And so, but I almost got in a fight. This table behind me we're yammering on, and I'm like, hey man, like, shh, like be quiet. He's like, you shushing me. I'm like, yeah, just be quiet. They put the thing up that said be quiet, so we're just being quiet right now. And then the guy goes on the whole time he's yammering, and then I look behind me. And the dad's just like burning a hole in me, right? With his eyes. He's just staring at me. He's like spitting mad, and he's like red in the face and all sorts of shit, right? And I'm just like, bro, you got a problem? He's like, yeah, I got a problem. I was like, what's your problem, dude? He's like, I got a problem with you, biggin. Like, what? So I stand up and I'm like, well, what's up then? You know what I mean? I'm like with 20 movers. So I'm like, all right, I've had whiskeys, but I'm like, all right, what's up then? And they get escorted out. And then the young kid who was talking in the beginning, kid must have been like 20 years old or something. He comes back in, taps me on the shoulder, and then he's like, you're a bitch. And I'm like, what? And then I stand up. And I'm like, are you kidding me? Again, we're doing this again right now? And then so I almost have another altercation. And then I walks off, I sit down. And then my wife takes off after the guy. And I'm like, oh my God, she's from Staten Island, New York, So
she's not backing down.
Yeah, she's always got a razor in her hair bun, And so she takes off, and I'm like, oh geez, do I chase after my wife? Do I just let someone, she's gonna cut me if she didn't cut him, gotta cut somebody, once she gets up, she gotta cut somebody. And so so anyway, so basically it was uneventful. It ended uneventfully, but the point is the listening room in Nashville is a great venue. It's usually very nonviolent. Highly recommend.
We got there. The story concluded with it.
Yeah.
Like, that is so funny. I now have to do it, but it's funny that you say that. So people that live in the greater Nashville area avoid Broadway like the plague. They do not go anywhere near it because you got assholes like myself that are just stumbling around. But I've met some really good local people in that marketplace that showed me like, this is where we go. People that live and work in Nashville itself, there were like these awesome bars a little past Music Row area. And they're like, it's more quiet, but honestly, like, I kind of like the big bar. Like, this is going to sound so not trashy. I love Kid Rock's. Like
Yeah.
that place is just banging all the time.
They rock.
Like,
they really rock there.
they just did. So anyway, those are some of my favorite towns. Chicago's always going to have a soft spot in my heart. I feel like you can kind of get away with anything no matter what. So even if open carry is not legal, it's legal. So
Yeah.
I was just out there a few weeks ago. Actually, I owe a trip back out there too. But some of my favorite towns, that we can actually drink within. And people in Chicago are drunk, I don't know, 80%.
It's a good bar town. It's a really good bar town. Like, it's kind of like New York like that. It's like got a culture of bar towns. And I think what it is, you have a lot of people that are like close proximity. So you have like good population density. It's culturally, it's a good drinking culture. But then also you got tiny apartments, right? And so you don't have people over, you go out and everyone meets at the pub, they meet at the public house. And that's just where people get together. And I think that when I was in New York, I really realized like how important to the community and to the neighborhood the pub was. I was meeting people in there, and then I'd be crossing the street the next day, and the guy's like, "Hey man, hey Ben, how you doing? You gonna be at the bar later?" I'm like, "Hey Jeff, totally forgot about you. Nice to meet you again. Like, yeah, maybe I'll see you over there." And it's just a really cool place for people to be. You mentioned Chicago. I gotta tell you, Ben, I love Chicago. I was in Chicago a few months ago, and can I show you something? Can we do a show and tell real quick?
Please do.
So I went to Buddy Guy's. Buddy Guy's Blues Legends. It's called Legends in Chicago. I've been going, I'm a huge blues guy, right? And so I go to the Blues Chicago, I go to Kingston Mines, and I always go to Buddy Guy's, usually for food because they serve a sit-down service, right? And so I'm eating there, and I'm with my coworker Daisy, who's here in the comments, and we're just watching a blues band, and we get there a little late, and the place is, it's pretty full up, but then they have 4 tables right in front of the stage. And they're like, sit wherever you want. And we go sit in the back. And then Daisy could tell, like, I want to move up. Right? And then she's like, you want to move up? I'm like, yeah, let's move up, right? Because it's the same price. You sit wherever you want. So I'm like, I'm going to go sit courtside, right? So we get up front, and now the band's playing, right? And the guy's just like singing every song to Daisy, right? He's singing every song to her. He's like looking at her. He's locked in, okay? And the whole, the rest of the crowd is in the dark, right? But we're kind of in the spotlight. So we're the only ones he can see, right? So he's working the crowd he can see, right? And so it was great. It was really cool. And then she goes to the bathroom. And when she goes to the bathroom, a guy comes out, the manager of the club comes out, he gets on the mic. He's like, hey, y'all, we got a special surprise for you tonight. He's like, rock and roll Hall of Fame inductee, 9-time Grammy Award winner, Kennedy Center honoree, Mr. Buddy Guy.
Wow.
And so they bring Buddy Guy out. Buddy turns 90 tomorrow. Buddy turns 90 years old tomorrow, July 30th. He comes up, he gets on stage. He's like, y'all mind if I fuck some of these songs up with you tonight? And we're like, yeah, buddy, go. What's up, buddy? And he gets up there. He's like, first, I need a drink. Give him my drink, right? So like the girls start running around. They bring him a drink. He's got a drink. He's got a girl with him up there, and he's looking at me because I'm the only crowd he can see. Right? He's looking at me. He's like, you like this right here? I'm like, yeah, sure, buddy. Whatever. He's like, and he's like, man, your wife's gonna mess you up. You keep looking at my woman like this. So he's going on and on. So we're like basically part of the show at this point, right? Yep. He's singing, he's doing these songs. I'm like, this is history. This is the greatest living blues singer. He's alive right now. And he's going on and on. He does the whole thing. At the end, we're able to go get autographs. And so I got an autograph and a picture with Buddy at the end of the night, and I framed it, and I want to show it to you, Ben.
Please.
Okay.
I would love to see
1 second. Here it is.
Oh, wow.
This is it right here, Ben. Okay. This is me and Mr. Buddy Guy.
Oh, hell yeah. I love that picture.
And he signed it for me. We took a picture together. I made a little plaque right there. Yeah.
Oh, that is awesome.
Yeah, that's super cool.
I've seen pictures of Buddy Guy. I am not a blues enthusiast like you. But when I think blues, that's the picture that I'm vision. Like his face just embodies what the
decades
blues is out here.
Decades of experience. Yeah. I mean, he talks about coming to Chicago, and he got in. He started playing in the clubs at 17, and they kicked him out because he wasn't 18 yet. And he's like, in my club, man, we'll let you play at any age, whatever, this and that. And then I ran into Junior Wells at the club, and he was younger than me, and he'd been playing for 2 years. And so he's just telling stories like crazy. It was great.
My God. Well, that is a awesome story. I mean, Chicago is, it's always going to be in
Great
my
time.
heart itself. It's just such good people. And people compare it. They're like, it's a cleaner, nicer New York. And I'm like, ooh. Now, I've got a lot of people that live in New York that I associate with here as well. My bias will go towards the Chicago area, but being out there, I think I spent 5 days with a few clients and suppliers over the summer, and just the area, the vibe, just the people, the food, the drinks. I was like, I can see why this is a hot area, and Chicago is continuing to grow no matter what they say. And I know there's a lot of drama that's going on with the Bears right now in the stadium that might be moving to Indiana.
Oh yeah. They're moving to Indiana.
It is a closer drive for a lot of people itself, and people that haven't been to Soldier Field. When you look at it flying in, it is gorgeous because it's right on the lake, and it is got the skyline behind you. It's just not easy to get to. There's nothing to do around it itself. It's historic. I've been there probably a dozen times itself. But I just, the Bears needed to do better than what they have here as well. Now, I don't know if the Hammond, Indiana deal is done yet, but it is not. They're not going to be at Soldier Field itself. Now, they will for the foreseeable future whenever the contract or construction starts to happen. But honestly, I'm very, very torn because that stadium is the smallest stadium in the NFL.
Is that right? I didn't know that.
Yeah. And actually, because Soldier Field is deemed a historic landmark, they had to build the stadium basically vertical up, and they couldn't build it out. So when you're sitting up top, you're basically like tipping over this way. So it's nerve-wracking when you're doing it, but it has, I think, 60 or 65,000 seats, which in NFL standards, right, that's small. Even at college standards at Division I mega schools, 65,000 is nothing nowadays.
Yeah, some of those college stadiums, like I lived in near Ann Arbor in Michigan, the Big House was like 110,000 people.
Oh, yeah.
It's crazy.
You've got these Big Ten schools and SEC schools where 90, 100, 110,000 people are very common on Saturdays as well. And then you've got the Bears playing in 65,000 seat stadium. I mean, it is what it is, but I don't know. I'm torn on it because they deserve better. The product needs to be better.
Right.
Talk about, and you're an NFL guy, right? You like the Cowboys.
Yeah.
I'll tell you this, Tammy Gillespie, the owner and founder of Switchplace, we had the privilege of going to the Cowboys Vikings game in Dallas in December. And it was a Sunday night game. And it exceeded every expectation. As a non-Cowboys, or definitely F the Vikings, I went there because some clients were big Vikings fans. So I had to kind of put on the good face and everything.
Yeah.
I wore neutral stuff. I wore neutral, and I'm like, I can't get into anything here.
Yeah.
For those that have the opportunity to go to a Cowboys game, it is pure entertainment from start to finish. The stadium is gorgeous. Is it like the Live Dallas, like kind of by it where all of the bars and everything are?
Dallas Live or whatever.
Dallas Live.
Lowe's Live, whatever it is. Yeah.
I was blown away, Ben, by what Jerry has built in there and just the ravenous following of what the Cowboys brought in. But even if you're not a fan of the Cowboys, to experience that stadium, it stuck with me. I had to do a post because I was just so enthralled. Anytime that there was downtime or a TV timeout, dude, it was pure comedy. They had mariachi bands that are out there. They had dancers everywhere. And not to say this, my girls, so I've got 3 daughters. One is 16 and I've got twins that are 13, are obsessed with the Netflix show, The Dallas Cowboy Cheerleaders.
Right.
And so I had to videotape the thunderstruck cheer during halftime itself.
Yes.
Nobody left the seats. Nobody left. They were there to watch it, and they just have a great blend of a decent, I'll say, a decent product on the field,
Yeah,
but it's circummed by an all-inclusive entertainment venue that
totally.
I loved every second of it.
Yeah, yeah, that's a great description. Great, it's fun when I go to Cowboys games because I see all the fans from, whether it be like Jets fans or fans from other, cities to come in, and they're all so complimentary of the facilities. They all have such a great time. To be honest, the Cowboys fans probably don't give them a hard enough time. I'd
Yeah.
actually been, having grown up in New York,
Huh?
I wish the fans were a little more, had a little more edge to them, maybe.
Yep.
I'm not looking for, the absolute classlessness of the Eagles or the Raiders, but I'm looking for a little more intimidation factor so
Yeah.
that it doesn't feel like an away game when we're at home. But yeah, to your point though, Dallas does a really, really nice job. The only thing we can't figure out is how to get all those, because everyone drives their own car. So now we have like 80,000 cars in the parking lot, and we can't
Yeah.
figure out how to get home. That's the only problem we have.
We had to book a hotel that was maybe a mile and a half away, and we walked. I walked several times back and forth because there was no Ubers. I wasn't going to get in that line, and we were actually thinking about getting a shuttle to drive us a mile and a half and just waiting there. And I was like, Tam, all right, we got this. It's time to put on your boot. Like, we're hiking, and at almost 11:30 at night after a day of drinking, partying, everything, it was like, shit.
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
shuttle would probably be a pretty good idea right now. But
It's tough. I
parking
got
is,
home at 1:30 in the morning from a night game. I actually saw the Packers game this past year, and it went into overtime,
oh
and then
yeah,
we lost in overtime, which was terrible.
shocker.
And I didn't get home till 1:32 in the morning. I don't think that
Yeah.
night.
It's an all-day event. We're actually planning on going out to the Bears-Eagles game at Soldier, which is the second Monday night in September.
Still early, so it's probably
Yeah.
nice still.
Oh, it's going to be awesome. And I've been to cold Chicago games itself. And when you can get a nice Sunday day, and it will be a night, it's a Monday night game, the city's going to shut down. And this is prime time. And the season that the Bears had last year not only was great from a visibility standpoint for the city of Chicago, but they were America's team. I felt like people were really rooting for Caleb and just the organization to go ahead and turn it around. And even if you don't support the Bears, you could support what they pulled off as a team and as a season. I think it was like 7 2-minute fourth quarter 2-minute wins and drives itself. And I had the fortune, I saw the Cincinnati game in Cincy where they came back to beat the Bengals itself. And it was awesome, man. And I had the same kind of attitude going into this season. But when football starts up, I will say this, it brings people together from a conversational standpoint, which is always good. It's like, who's your team?
Yeah, who's your team? How are they doing?
Either
We all got
like
opinions
each other off the bat, or we're going to talk
100%.
some shit here. So
get in the comments. Let us know how crazy we are. Ben and Ben are just riffing on sports and hanging out over here. We're indexing on the love side of Love Relo right now.
Yeah.
I promise you, we'll talk some corporate housing stuff. We've also got a really killer overrated, underrated coming up. Ben has seen none of these topics either, by the way, so I'm going to spring these on him. So that'll be wonderful. So hopefully the Tito's is queued up for this one. Get in the comments, y'all. If you got questions for Ben Lugiai, we're taking them right now. But I got to ask you, Ben, tell me about corporate housing, man. What's the market like right now? How would you describe it?
Yeah, it's hot. And I say that just not from a Switchplace perspective, but just a entire ecosystem of what this product is. And I'll give a little bit of background here. So I think that some people, I see the comments on here, like we've worked together in some capacity. I've been in the corporate housing world for about 11 years. And I've worked for the largest corporate housing companies that were out there. Bridge Street Global Hospitality is where I started. And then I had the opportunity to go lead the sales and go-to-marketing team for Y Hotel that rebranded to Placemaker. And we were trying to figure out the real estate arm. And I've had the honor of leading our sales efforts, our branding efforts at Switchplace for really the last 2.5 years. And what I've seen is an absolute resurgence in the marketplace for this type of product. And I think corporate housing has been around, obviously, for decades. Switchplace just hit 28 years in business. One owner, Tammy, started it in 1998. No outside capital partners, and she is fierce as any businesswoman comes out in the space here. But I have seen 2026 really shift into high gear itself. And 25, I'll speak just from Switchplace, not the industry, was a tough year.
It was a tough year for everybody.
Across the board, I think that there was a lot of unknown in what was going on in global relocation and global moves and infrastructure projects that were happening here domestically. And it created a lot of pause. And that back demand is not only showing face now, but then there's an accelerated appetite for this product and service in the marketplace here. So I will say 26 has been a very fruitful year for us, but it was tough goings in 25. But, we've got an amazing team to go ahead and ensure our clients are getting everything that we have delivered and promised for them in that realm. But we're also hearing it from our clients is to say, get ready for 27 as well. So
that's what I'm sensing too, because I'm wondering if 26 is good and we haven't even gotten the benefit of those lower interest rates that we've just been hanging on for years now. We got to think 27 is going to continue to have momentum, right?
Yeah, it's funny. This morning, my CFO, Ann Graves, and she is an amazing person. We did our forecasting for the rest of 26, which is relatively easy to forecast. I mean, we're already, 2+ quarters into it, but 27, we actually have a pretty good line of sight, which is very unique in corporate housing itself. I feel like, I'm not going to say it's predictable, but we've established a really nice base of business. And because we've delivered on the service and the deliverables that we promoted, we are retaining the clients, but also creating additional demand in those verticals that we service as well. So to your point, I think that everyone that's out there, 27 is going to be a very positive year. But one of the things that I always rely and go back on is, 24 was a good year for us as well. We didn't do a good enough job forecasting for 25. There was just a lot of unknown. So it's great to celebrate now. And I want to be very congratulatory to everyone here within Switchplace, but within the corporate housing space of promoting the brand. But, the market can pivot quickly too. And it's very volatile to outside circumstances, but on a positive note, I am very bullish on 27.
Well, I want to ask you about that, right? So we're coming off 25 where we all kind of are stinging a little bit, but 26, we're doing well. I think, everyone I talked to from moving to corporate housing to even RMCs are doing well, better than maybe they even expected, right, this year. Yep. And so how do you look forward to 27 where you feel bullish, but you're still stinging a little bit from getting spanked in 25, Yeah. How do you go forward with confidence when you're still stinging a little bit, right? So how do you balance that?
I think myself, just from a leadership standpoint, I'm an optimistic leader. I really am, but I'm also very conservative. And we were fortunate enough to bring on a few new people. Ashley on here came aboard with us, and we brought on some inside operators because we needed to satisfy what the increased demand that's going on here. But I look at it to say I'm conservative with what we're doing, but I won't say no if there is a quantifiable return on that cost and investment. And that doesn't mean just like, okay, we're going to invest in a CRM or a sales tool and we need to quantify it over here. What I'm doing is we're investing in the experience and the guest experience as well, because our product is very tangible And people can go to any corporate housing company that's out here, and even an extended stay hotel for that fact. But we want to invest on the user experience and SwitchPlace as a brand and make it super memorable and make it an absolute value add to any organization that we're engaging with here as well. So there is going to be continued investment into the product, into our systems, into our outbound efforts that are here. But we will do it cautiously, and we will do it with data, and we'll do it with what our clients are giving us as far as feedback.
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense, man. That's kind of how you have to do it, have a measured approach, right?
Yep.
Let me ask you this, though. Tell me about your take on these. We're seeing more and more of these big box hotels getting into the corporate housing space. What do you think of that? What's the impact going to be?
So as an entire ecosystem, I love it because it creates additional awareness to people that didn't have exposure to traditional corporate housing itself. So what we saw is the Marriott and Sonder deal about 2 years ago, maybe not even that long, but what happened last year with that partnership.
Right.
And I think it left big box hotelers gun shy to pull the trigger and engage with companies that have master leases because it's a very risk heavy model. I now kind of fast forward to it. So Hilton announced a licensing deal with Placemaker, and they have a new brand under the Hilton portfolio called the Apartment Collection. And I think that creates significant value and awareness in a much broader audience than what we typically go after here. So I think it's a very positive thing for our industry right now. Now, fast forward a little bit further, we also are going to have to view them as a competitor in the space, and they've got the Hilton loyalty and the distribution to their Hilton Honors members that significantly outweigh the traditional corporate housing buyers here. I don't see that business segment going away. If anything, there's going to be continued acquisition and licensing deals as we progress into 27, not only with Hilton, but I can see Marriott getting back into it as well.
Yeah, so it's interesting because I look at this like, a company, let's just use Hilton because we mentioned them, right? A company like that who is obviously a player on the consumer side and to some degree, obviously business travel too, right? But kind of what I would consider like a consumer brand. And we've seen this in other verticals within the relocation space. We see it in moving a lot too, where like these consumer brands come in and they start to kind of nibble away at market share. And on the one hand, we're like, yeah, but we require duty of care and we require compliance and we require all these, there's this barrier to entry, this moat that we feel like we have around our business. But because so much of it has become, fragmented and lump sum and unmanaged, right? We're starting to see all this leakage kind of into these other areas. And I guess my question is, are you seeing buyers' behavior changing in our space when it comes to corporate housing?
Yeah, that's a great question, Ben. And the answer is yes. Coming out really over the last 2 years, I think that cost has been an ultimate driver in selecting vendors that want to handle and manage corporate housing programs, whether that's internships, whether that is project management, whether that's deployments, or sometimes just relocation that they don't utilize a full service RMC in that world. And that has shifted. And I really think that there's been two driving factors on conversion and implementation. One is location. People want specific neighborhoods and locations that are out in the marketplaces that they're going to. And one of the disadvantages that a traditional hotel has is that they're static, right? They've got a physical core asset that if you don't like it, okay. Now you could bop around to other hotels, that's fine. The difference with corporate housing is that we operate in an agency model that we can enter in to agreements with multifamily owners and operators and take out leases and matching leases in the neighborhoods and markets that the end user wants to do. And in most cases, that end user has a significant financial impact on the business's operational performance, where if you don't check off the location, and you don't check off the experience itself, you might lose that employee that's going to be assigned to that project and that route. So one is absolute location has been a driving factor for us. The second thing is experience, quality of the product that they're adhering to. And when we look at that, it comes from guest communications. It comes from white glove service. We don't third party out anything. Everything we do is in-house here. So it's great to see that white glove service isn't going to be going away. And I think that's absolutely instrumental, especially for people that are going into markets for the first time that are nervous, don't know what to expect over here. So we have a team dedicated to ensure that before that guest ever steps foot in any apartment or community, that we have done our absolute diligence, that we've answered all of their questions, and they have an assigned person dedicated to that individual booking that we've got here. So I think that the experience outweighs any of the cost that was the absolute driving factor over the last few years.
Yeah, really, really interesting dynamic there. Get in the comments, y'all. If you got questions for Ben or Ben, let me know. Get in the comments. We'll take your questions. Hit that like button as well. This is a lot of fun. We got a question actually from Farrell. Farrell on YouTube says, how does this compare from a cost perspective with traditional corporate housing? Is Hilton's kind of going back to the hotel?
Yep.
Is Hilton stepping into this going to offer a more cost-effective solution?
Yeah, it's a great question. I'm not sure the pricing dynamic that Hilton is going to be offering. The value add of getting a Hilton within here is access and distribution, also to the loyalty points that Hilton has. So it'll be interesting to see if this is going to be a more cost-effective way of doing it. My gut feel is Hilton does a really good job on revenue management. And we think about this, Hilton is known for business travel, individual stays, conference, group travel, short-term stuff, right? 2 to 3 days. They are now interfaced with an asset that has STR permits, so short-term rental permits, and now you're competing against extended stay. So what's the displacement going to look like? It's not about ADR, it's about RevPAR in that world, right? Revenue per available.
Define that for me, ADR and RevPAR.
Yeah, so ADR is your average daily rate here. So if you're at $150 average daily rate itself, that looks great on paper. But if you're only utilizing the unit 80% of the time, right? So you do that 150 times 80% occupancy gives you your RevPAR itself. And you can break it down in that
120 or something.
Hotels are benchmarked on RevPAR. They want to maximize every square inch of that asset for their ownership group. Where corporate housing is probably a more cost-effective way, especially if you've got an extended stay that's over here. So what's happening in that one asset is you have extended stay demand that's going to be generated through Hilton. You've got an outside sales force here, but they're also competing against people that are booking at Hilton.com directly for a 2-night stay that are paying a premium because there's a compressed weekend. You are competing against a possible sellout for a group that's coming in for a conference over here. So it's really a fine line to go ahead and not fight, but you're competing against multiple different business avenues that are here. Whereas traditional corporate housing operators, we specialize on extended stay and super extended stay itself. So our price is going to be static across the board. Whereas when you're dealing with a asset owner, like a Hilton or Placemaker. I'm not speaking badly. I love them. I was there for 3 years. I support them 100%. We utilize them here. It is a revenue management decision that's going to be coming down here as well, opposed to corporate housing where you've got one person that's really going to price it out in a very strategic way to make it advantageous to book through us. So I hope that answers it. There's going to be displacement and very top level business questions from a revenue management and maximization standpoint on that particular asset class.
Really, really interesting stuff here. I actually thought, when I tend to think in general terms without data, just anecdotally, that, the square footage that you get in a corporate housing product, and therefore the dollar per square foot, if that's even a metric that makes sense,
Yep.
is which I would say is like value, is so much better with corporate housing. I mean, you have a kitchen, you have a living room, you have a bedroom, bathroom, at least, right?
Yep.
Not to mention a washer, dryer, and unit a lot of times, and all the other things, right? And so, I mean, that's so in a balcony. I mean, that's so much utility, that you get, and so much square footage that you get, that it's almost hard to compare the two for like a 30-day stay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
100% agree with that, Ben. And it's, it'll be interesting to see what the pipeline is going to look like here and what the units are going to come online under the Hilton flag itself. And Hilton knows what they're doing, and they do a very, very good job of it. So to your point, it differs from traditional corporate housing, especially if and I'll kind of revert back to Switchplace, where we have the opportunity to engage with multifamily asset owners and property management companies to go ahead and negotiate short-term leases on your behalf in the desired areas at a static price itself that's open to the market here as well. So we don't have a revenue management team because we don't operate short-term rentals. We're not playing the Tetris game of like, where can I maximize over here? Our ownership is to our clients to go ahead and ensure that we're a steward of their money and we're giving them the best options at the best price.
Well, I mean, and those revenue management teams, I mean, I worked at an organization for 5 years that had a revenue management department. And I was so impressed with the amount of thought that they put into how they were going to maximize the yield from the finite assets they had. But it's also the reason why you go to a Hilton in Boston and it's $900 a night because a conference is in town. And, it is what it is. We've all been there. Right. And so, it's super interesting. Ben, this is really interesting stuff here. We could talk about corporate housing, till the cows come home. We'll catch up probably in Chicago and do more of it. But I want to ask you, you want to play a game with me?
Yes, I would love to.
Let's do it. Let's play a little game. All right. We got a little game we like to play here on the show. Okay. It's a little game we like to call overrated, underrated. All right.
All right.
Overrated, underrated. Okay. Do you know how to play the game, Ben?
You say something and I would say, is that overrated or underrated in my opinion?
Yeah, that's half of it. And then I will let you know if you are correct.
Is this your perspective or
yes?
Okay,
yes,
got it.
I am the decider. Okay,
cool.
I am the decider. Take it or leave it. No refunds. Here we go. First one up: overrated, underrated. The Green Bay Packers.
Oh, so overrated. My God.
Yeah, I'm kind of with you. Screw those Packers, okay? You know what? Go back to Lambeau, okay?
I'm digging this game already.
I didn't say it would be hard. All right. I went I had the pleasure of going to see the Cowboys play the Packers in Lambeau on my 40th birthday. What was that? A few years ago. And it was really, really, really cool. People were great, super nice. It was a cool stadium, whatever, but screw those Packers. They had Aaron Rodgers too. Yeah, I forget those guys. All right, next one up. All right, here we go. Overrated, underrated. Airbnb.
Oh. I will say this. Underrated.
Underrated. Yeah. Okay, why?
I think what Airbnb did for the corporate housing stay in industry gave us absolute visibility, just like the Hilton deals that are going on here right now. People 10 years ago that didn't understand what corporate housing was, I would have to say we're somewhat like an Airbnb, and it just triggered. They have done a great job of vacation rental and home rental where it's intertwined to say, I'm going to Airbnb it. It's almost like Kleenex. It's that term that just is universal that's out here. Now, my other thought is we compete against Airbnb, and they're diving into business travel and extended stay. Some travel policies allow people to book Airbnb. Some are absolutely staunchly against it. Is that I don't know their duty of care and diligence, as that is a B2C platform and we are a B2B ecosystem. So I say they've given me the opportunity to get visibility, but I don't know where they're at from a compliance and duty of care, even though they say they've got a lot of suppliers off of their network and individual homeowners because they're not fitting diligence duty of care. What does that vetting process look like?
Yeah, until the World Cup shows up and they're like, here, I'll give you $5,000 to get on the platform and rent your house. And I'm like, yeah, whatever. Sounds great, buddy. And like, you know, one time.
So obviously I feel like you're going to flip the script and you're going the other way.
I'm going to say overrated. All right. They are ubiquitous. They are, you know, synonymous with a lot of what we do. But at the same time, they leave a lot to be desired, you know? And I think that people just think Airbnb is the easy button, but the truth of the matter is there's a lot more to be considered. That being said, in a very unpopular decision, when I bring my whole team to conferences, we get an Airbnb, we get a big ass house, just like 4 bedrooms, 4 baths, you know, everybody chills in the living room, have a couple drinks, go out, whatever. It's kind of weird at first, but you know, people dig it though.
You and your team making it weird.
Yeah, just getting weird. It's called team building. Hey, speaking of which, here, let's try this one on for size. Overrated, underrated, regulations.
Ooh. Now it depends on what we're going to be talking about here as well. I think regulations, in my perspective, oh man, that is so open for it. I feel like we've got the opposite on this one. I'm going to go with overrated right now.
You're going overrated? Okay. Yeah. Why is that? Why
I feel like we have done a lot of, from a legal standpoint, I understand cities that don't want to engage with less than 30-day stays. Regulation is, I'll say this actually, I'll take it a step back. Multifamily regulation itself on the volume of leases that are allowed to, or organizations that want to engage with corporate housing companies itself have dwindled really over the last 5 years itself, making the supply chain condensed and more competitive in our space. And I think that's due to a lot of the regulations that happened coming out of post-COVID, which has hurt us from a supplier standpoint. On the flip side, we need the regulations to go ahead and ensure, again, compliance, duty of care, everything is there from a supplier standpoint. So I feel like you're going to flip the script and go the other way.
I actually think regulations are underrated. And I'm going to tell you why. Okay. I come from the moving business, right? And we went through regulation, deregulation, et cetera, et cetera. And all, the pendulum always swings, you know, and all these business people that own these companies are always, oh, I hate regulation. And what they don't realize is regulations, what keeps all these people from hanging a shingle and saying, I'm a corporate housing company, or I'm a, you know, moving company, or all these guys who are willing to load your U-Haul, you know, advertise themselves as a mover out there. It not only does it keep the consumers safe, sure, fine, okay, whatever, but it builds a moat of compliance and professionalism around companies that are actually in it to win it and being good operators versus just fly-by-nights out there. So I think regulations are actually good for business in a lot of ways that people just may not see. Hey, let's move on here to something a little more fun. New Orleans, overrated, underrated.
Oh man. So I've got a good New Orleans story, but it was, it didn't go well. I think New Orleans is underrated because I haven't experienced the full gamut of it. There was actually CHPA did their New Orleans event during Mardi Gras, I think 4 years ago. Yeah, now, me being an idiot didn't realize this. And I was like, what are we walking into? The pure devastation that after the conference and after going out that I saw, I was like, oh my God. But people swear by New Orleans and they said, I just haven't seen everything that's here. So I'm going to go with underrated.
Dude, you couldn't be more right. Okay. Underrated all day long. New Orleans should have twice as much traffic as it has. People are freaked out. They say it's dirty. They say it's smelly. They say it's crime-ridden. Honestly, none of that's 100% true and none of it matters. Okay. New Orleans is the most sweetest cultural gem in our country. It's the only place I think you can go where you feel like you're in another country, in our country. And it is just phenomenal. It's a phenomenal gumbo of culture. And I can't say enough wonderful things about New Orleans.
I love it.
We got two here. We're going to go with this. the Indiana Bears. What are you feeling like?
So overrated. Ben, you can't call it the Indiana Bears here. It's right on the border of Illinois and Indiana if it's going to be happening in Hammond itself. The renderings in stadium look awesome. Of course, I'm going to go to it. Of course, I'm going to support the Bears here. I'm going to go with overrated 10 out of 10 times.
10 out of 10. Yeah, I'm just rage baiting you at this point.
You are. You're getting me, man. You are.
I'll give you a fair one. I'll give you a fair one. Caleb Williams, overrated, underrated.
Oh, he is the future of the NFL over here, and that might not be a popular opinion. He got a lot of hype. He's on the cover of Madden, which could be a bad thing.
Oh, that's it. Goodbye.
Goodbye. Here we go.
He's going to break all his toes next year. Caleb Williams, cover of Madden, kiss of death. Goodbye.
That man could do no wrong last year, but the Madden is real.
We're going to talk in 200 days, and you're going to be crying in your malort. Because Caleb Williams is going to let you down.
All right. I owe you a side bet. That'll be between you and I then on what we're going to end here.
Yeah, beautiful. This is a lot of fun, Ben. I couldn't have had more fun. This is great. I really appreciate you, Ben. Thanks for being with us today. You've been a phenomenal guest.
Yeah, thank you, Ben, for the hospitality, and this has been a pleasure. I will say this. 45 minutes were fun and banter. I think everyone that's on this call can take a little breather. This summer was really, really busy, and I just wanted to have, hey, we're all people on the other side of this. So it's great to go ahead and get you in this forum. And thank you for everyone that joined in and listened. I really appreciate it.
Yeah. Thanks everyone for being here. We wouldn't have a show without you. Hit that like button. Let Ben know how he did. Send us some love out there.
Be nice, please. I don't do well with the negative feedback. So
yeah. And we will see you.